Stay with us, if you would. I'm going to turn now to the White House, to our White House correspondent, Kelly O'Donnell, again, who has done some reporting on the law firm that's representing this, a second whistleblower. Kelly, get us up to speed on what we know at this point.
Well, one of the things that has been at the heart of this, David, is the president has tried to undercut the credibility and the direct knowledge of the first person who has come forward as a whistleblower. Again, an unidentified, unnamed individual who has filed this formal complaint. So the law firm that represents that person now tells me they have multiple officials that are also represented by the firm and have spoken to the Inspector General of the intelligence community, and that there is more direct knowledge. We know that whistleblower one had not heard the call, for example, and was not directly firsthand involved in the events regarding the president's contact on in July of this year with the Ukrainian president. So having additional officials with knowledge about how the system works, what was going on, would potentially be, presuming they're all in line in what they're saying, corroboration for that first whistleblower. That could be very significant as people are trying to challenge the value of the information brought forward, and if the standing of that person meets what some of the people in the White House and some of the allies of the president have been saying, that it's not really a whistleblower because of not having that firsthand knowledge. So think of this as a way to bolster the information that's been brought forward, and very significantly that other officials feel comfortable taking this career risk to come forward with information. Whistleblowers are protected under the law, their identity, and protected from retaliation on their jobs for a reason, whether it's government or corporate America. Whistleblowers have historically been vulnerable to criticism and to attack, frankly, when they come forward. So having additional officials with knowledge of the events around the Ukraine call is significant. And it will make it harder for the White House to challenge the credibility of these individuals. And at this point, we don't know what sort of piece of this they may have, if they have knowledge that expands what is already in the fact base that we have, or if it simply corroborates what was known in that first complaint. Those are all the questions that will come, David. At this point, the law firm says they're not going to have any further comment. These are obviously sensitive issues, but certainly Capitol Hill will be interested in this, and the Inspector General, Michael Atkinson, who spent a lot of time on Capitol Hill Friday talking about his evaluation of the whistleblower complaint. If he's now been in touch with other officials as well who could corroborate parts of this, it seems significant on the facts, and politically, it seems like more weight going against the president, who's tried to dismiss this. David?
Kelly O'Donnell, you're always so good at telling me what I don't know and doing it so politely. So let me ask you to do that, if you wouldn't mind. We hear this and we think about the piece that was in the New York Times yesterday by Adam Goldman and by Michael Schmidt, and something that they said was that whistleblower in the wings, that would-be whistleblower, had conversations with Michael Atkinson, the Inspector General for the intelligence community. I gather from what you're saying here, we don't know if in this group of whistleblowers this law firm represents, that would-be whistleblower is one of them. We don't know that to be a fact. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the other is, we don't know that these new whistleblowers, and you're using the plural, have spoken yet to the Inspector General. Am I right in reading it that way?
It's hard to know if the figure described by another news outlet is the same individual. What we can say is that in the area of this sort of national security law, the attorney team, and there are multiple lawyers involved representing whistleblower one, now has among their clients additional officials who they're characterizing as whistleblowers. So is it a second or more? They're using the term multiple. And so what we don't yet know is what pieces of the story might they corroborate from the July call. Do they have new information? Is their type of job description providing some other window into the events? Those are the big questions. It's our understanding that the whistleblowers, as defined by the legal team, have in fact spoken to the Inspector General. And that makes sense because in order to be labeled a whistleblower under the law, you have to be in the system. And so speaking to the Inspector General would help to sort of trigger that protection. So we know, at least at this point, these are officials who have provided information in an official chain of events, and not just sort of individuals on the outside who haven't told their story yet. So implicit in the legal team calling them whistleblowers, they have to have provided information in the formal pathway that whistleblowers do. So that might sound complicated, But the key thing here is there's more than one person willing to put their job on the line to say, this is something that happened. I have information.
All right, we're going to come back and talk a bit more about this in the break. Get Professor in the conversation as well. I apologize with all the breaking news leaving you here on the outside to my left.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.